Hey there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Today I'm going to be sowing my hot peppers. So I am 12 weeks, let me double check that, 12 weeks out from my average last frost date, which might seem like a pretty long time in advance to start your hot peppers. But peppers take a little while to get going as far as growing and getting good growth on. And I live in Saskatchewan, Canada, which only has 110 frost-free days, so we really need to get a jump start on things like peppers that like that hot, sunny weather. And hot peppers, in my experience, take a little bit longer to germinate and get going from seed. So I like to start them just a little bit earlier. I'll start my sweet peppers in a couple of weeks, but the hot peppers I find just need a little bit of extra time just in case they don't break dormancy as fast. So I've just been mixing some water in with some peat moss here. This is a grower's mix of peat moss and some peat moss falling on my hand, but like maybe 1-2 drops of water, and holds together pretty good, but I can break it up easily. So that's a nice moisture content to have for getting the seeds started. So just have some trays here. Now these are just little 4-pack trays that I've put in a old meat container, I think. So I'm just gonna fill these up, pat them down a little bit just to make sure there's no air pockets, but I want this peat moss mix to be fairly airy and loose. And I have 6 varieties of pepper that I'm going to be starting. Like I said, hot peppers, except one is technically a sweet banana pepper, but I find that sometimes they take a little bit of extra time for me too. They're getting to be older seed, and I don't know if that's why, but so I just want to get them going a little bit earlier as well, just to make sure they're going. Okay, so I have all my trays here. So I have 6 rows. So I'm going to put peppers in 2 cells of each of these rows. And I'm actually going to put a couple of seeds in each cell. So let's start with Sugar Rush Peach. This is a beautiful pepper. It has heat as it ages and gets more mature, but it actually has a sweetness to it too, a real fruitiness. It's a beautiful pepper. And it's great for adding into sauces and salsas and different things like that. So I just have a couple of pepper seeds here. I think this is not seed, so let's get a couple more out. Whoop. This particular variety I get from the Atlantic Pepper Seed Company, I think is what it's called, pepperseeds.ca. They're on the east coast of Canada. So I'm just going to put a few in each cell here, and I can always divide them up later. That's not seed from what I can tell. Let's grab one more here. I have a friend who really likes these as well, so I want to get enough started that she can have some in her garden. So if I get at least a few in each of those, then that will be lots for both of us to use. Make sure I label this. And then we'll put our sweet banana in next. And sometimes people ask me if they've heard that you can't grow sweet peppers next to hot peppers. And the truth is you can. But if you are looking to save your seed, then it could be a problem because you could wind up with cross-pollinated varieties. But if you're just growing the peppers side by side just to eat, they'll come out true to their variety. There won't be any cross-contamination of flavor in that first year of growing them side by side. If you collect the seed, then you could wind up with a cross-pollination where you get some of the hot pepper qualities mixed in with the sweet pepper qualities, and you could get a whole new variety of pepper. So I don't think I'll need a ton of these, but like I said, they haven't been germinating well. They're getting older, so I'll just use all of those seeds there. These are from 2020. So seeds can last a long time, but these have a coating on them. They've been treated, and treated seed doesn't last as long as just straight up seed that hasn't been coated. So now we'll do Pathfinder. This is a Serrano. And this is another great one to add just to put a little bit of heat in a sauce, or, you know, add to salsas and things if you want a nice spicy kick. Beautiful, nice red color, nice and long, skinny peppers. So if those are qualities you're looking for. It's not overly hot, but it does definitely have a kick. Probably the hottest pepper I'm growing here. This is Hungarian hot wax. I like these. I actually find these are nice even just to, I'll just eat these off the plant. Not everybody would agree with me on that, but I don't find them overly hot. Again, these are pretty old, 2020, but they're not coated. So they should do well for me. And I'm planting about 8 seeds of each. And we'll see what comes up. I'll probably only keep 2 plants of each for myself. And then I'll have a few extras to give away to anyone I know that would like some, because a lot of these are varieties you just can't easily find in stores locally here. So I like to have a few extras for people who I know will like them. So this is a jalapeno pepper, and it's called Monet, and it has that hot jalapeno flavor. They tend to produce quite well for me. Hot peppers do tend, I find, to produce more prolifically than just your standard sweet peppers do. You get a lot more on each plant. Oops. So again, I'll use these again in salsas and things. I like them in even some tomato sauces sometimes, and just to make like jalapeno poppers and different kind of jalapeno dishes that I like. And this is also a jalapeno, but this one is a mild jalapeno. It doesn't have that same bite to it, and I can quite often just eat these again off the plant with no worries. You occasionally get a hotter one. Again, this is a little bit older seed that's been coated, so I'm just sticking a couple extra in each cell. So once these germinate, because I have them in here quite thickly, I will need to divide them up fairly early, but once peppers kind of get going, they tend to grow pretty quick, so I like to bump them up fairly soon anyways. So now that they're all in there, I want to put a little bit of soil on the surface here to cover them up. Let me just double check. I think it's a 1/4 inch. Yeah. So 1/4 inch, and I'm just again going to use the same peat moss mix, a thin covering just to get the seeds covered so you can't see them. And because this isn't a special seed starting mix, I'm paying attention if there's any really thick clumps or any sticks or miscellaneous bits in it, then I will take those to the side. I certainly don't want them on top of the seeds, making it difficult for the seedling to push out. That's the biggest thing with seed starting mix, is it's just a finer blend, often with more ingredients to help it be airy and lofty. And peat moss is quite airy and lofty on its own. You just need to watch that you don't wind up with any chunks. And this is a grower's mix that I buy, so it has very few large chunks in it. It's broken up quite fine too. It's not as big as some peat moss that you can get, can be kind of chunky. This isn't, so I like to use it. There, so I'm just giving it a little pat to make sure that all of the seeds have contact with the soil or the peat moss that I put on there. I like to put a little bit of vermiculite on top of my seed trays. And this just helps to kind of regulate moisture levels on the soil surface. You know, it'll take up if you have a little bit, if you watered them a little bit too much, or if you didn't water them enough, it'll let off a little bit of moisture that it has absorbed. And that type of action helps to prevent things like damping off and fungus gnats that like to be present in very moist conditions. So I'm just going to spray the top down just to make sure that vermiculite is nice and damp, and again just to settle all that soil in around the seeds so there's lots of good contact there. You don't want them tamped in real tight, but you want to make sure they have good contact so when the sprouts form they're not getting hitting air pockets and rotting off before they have a chance to really develop. And then I just want to put a little bit of a cover. Now I don't have an actual cover for this tray, but I'm going to put this down. It'll help hold some of the humidity in. It's not perfectly closed up, so I'll keep an eye on it. And if I find that it's getting drying out quickly, then I'll have to drape some plastic wrap or something or get a larger humidity dome to put over. But I thought we'd go with this for now and see how it does. And I can always revise my plan later if I need to. But this little tray just fit these cell packs quite nicely. So I'm going to put this on a heat mat. I find hot peppers especially, but all peppers like to have a little bit of bottom heat to help them germinate. So like I said, that's where these are going to go. So I have heat mats down behind my table here. I have a little one here with my begonia seedlings on, and then I have a much larger one that covers the whole shelf, and that's where these will go because there's room for it. And then I also have a controller for the temperature right here. And the controllers just have little probes that I can pop in the soil. So I have one set for each heat mat, and I'll just try and keep it around 24 to 27 degrees Celsius in the soil temperature, and that seems to work well for starting most seedlings. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So thanks for coming along with me in my plant room today while I get a few more things started. I'll be updating you very shortly on all the things that I've started this month, as well as letting you know what I'm going to be doing for March. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.